Welcome to the Local Fixture. I'm Jimmy Preston, and I'm joined with the producer of the JB and Sandy Morning Show, Mr. Johnny Desjardins.
That's me, Jimmy.
How you doing, buddy?
Great, man. Fantastic.
Good
it's
to
great
see you.
to be here.
Thanks so much for taking the time. I know you're an early riser. What time are you normally up for the show?
I'm usually up about 3:30 in the morning.
That's really early.
It's really early. There's not a lot going on, and that's kind of the best time to actually work because there's nobody bothering you. I don't know if you've noticed lately, Jimmy, people are getting annoying.
Yeah.
They're getting annoying at a rapid rate. And
Right.
in the workplace, it's run rampant. People are just annoying across the board.
But you're talking about like just people that
general.
work in general, not
Yeah.
your.
I'm painting
not
with the
your
broadest
coworkers.
brush possible here. I'm thinking the majority of the people are just annoying, especially when they get to work.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the kind of job's kind of nice. You get there like 4 hours before everybody else is there.
Right.
You get to wake up, you read the newspapers, you go through the television shows, what is everybody talking about, what's trending. So you get to kind of set the table for what's happening in the morning for people of Austin.
What's your routine? Like, are you going right to the writing? Are you writing bits, preparing for the show?
Yeah, what I do first is it's a big game of editing. So you have to figure out with all the information that's going out there, what are the stories that are kind of like most pertinent to your audience, or in my case, I always try to go for which stories are going to lead to comedy the fastest.
Right.
So in a 4-hour show, we'll have 5 or 6 breaks that we have to fill 5 or 10 minutes in and there. So there's quite a bit of content. So I'll come in and I'll like, all right, what's funny, what's pertinent, which story is perishable, which means which story is going to last more than a day or two, or which one do I got to get out now?
Can it wait for tomorrow?
Right. So you have to play that game of prioritizing and kind of editing what's happening in each day.
And delivering the joke in an efficient way.
Yeah, either we're doing a skit, or it'll just be a punchline, or a phone call, or anything that will kind of bring up the topic and kind of present it in a different way than just what is kind of generically presented out in the news.
Now, a lot of the video skits that we've used your audio to make this art.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys have done a fantastic job.
Well, thanks, man. But it comes from the brain of the Johnny Desjardins. So,
yeah, I don't know. What's wrong with that brain? There's a lot. Wrong? There's a lot wrong with the brain. I fell as a kid many times. Actually, it's kind of strange. When I was a little kid, I fell twice, and both times that I fell, I ripped my ears like almost completely off.
What?
Like one ear, and then I went to military hospitals. I fell off the bleachers once, and as I was falling, I hit a piece of metal. And then I fell in my bedroom when I was probably 2 or 3 and hit the edge of a bed. And both of my ears got like almost completely knocked off.
Right.
And so I went into a military hospital, which if anyone who's ever went to a military hospital, they can be scary places. So they put some like Frankenstein type stitches on there, and I screamed bloody murder. And I think what came out of that is I have really sensitive ears. Like I can hear strange things. So I picked up language and dialects.
So are they like positioned differently?
No,
the
but like I
changed?
can bend it like this, and it kind of, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it kind of flaps right there. There's like a perfect little line.
Yeah.
And yeah, your ears bleed a lot when you cut them. And it was like, Evander Holyfield. You remember how he jumped up and down? You've never seen a boxer jump up and down like that in that much pain. It is just that you can't explain the pain. So occasionally, like when it's hot, my ears will turn purple. And it's really, the chicks really dig it. Yeah, they do. I mean, it's just.
Well, it freaks them out.
Right.
Okay. All right. Now, listen, this all happened in Nebraska where you grew up.
Right.
And you grew up with Sandy.
Right.
Right? You guys were peas in a pod.
Yes, we've known each other since we were about 10 years old, and both of our fathers were officers in the Air Force. So you're in kind of a really strict environment when you're in the Air Force as kids, and both of our fathers were in Vietnam. So we spent the majority of our younger lives really just being hellions. Okay. We were the military kids that weren't being watched.
And both of your dads were officers, so you
Correct.
could get away with.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you got in more trouble if you got caught.
Right.
But you could get away with some of the little stuff. Now, and it just depends, because he was there and doing a couple of tours. He was never around, so my brothers had to be the cops. So me and Sandy got in a lot.
What's the craziest stuff that you guys got into? Can you give me one?
Well, the general craziest thing probably is we used to bet at the horse racing track.
Okay.
And Sandy was really good with numbers. His whole family grew up in New York City, so they would go to the track there, and his uncles taught him how to, read the racing for him.
Like Rain Man type number?
Yeah, like he's crazy. Like he can multiply 4-digit numbers and have you an answer faster than a calculator.
If I asked him for the 34th digit of the Fibonacci sequence, do you think he'd have it?
He would know that Fibonacci sequence backward and forward. Yeah. And it's not a joke. And it's funny because he's big and muscly, and then he's got a brain like a scientist. It's strange.
What you're saying is muscly guys are normally not smart.
Typically, not your guys that know quadratic equations.
Send your letters to JB and Sandy Show, all you muscle guys. Johnny Desjardins.
Right, exactly. So Sandy used to teach this old guy how to gamble the local horses, and this old guy actually turned out to be Henry Hill, who was the character that you see in Goodfellas, who was in the witness relocation program, and they wanted to put him in a place, because he was a degenerate gambler, they wanted to put him in a place where nobody would know he's there, and he could just go and gamble, and that would be how he would just lay low.
So he learned under?
No, he taught the Henry Hill guy. I can't even remember what his real name is because that's the movie character they named him after. He passed away.
I think it was Spud, right?
yeah, something like that. And he passed away I think January of this past year. And so the whole story came out, but we knew who he was the whole time.
Huh.
And he was part of the biggest heist in American history, I believe. When in the movie, you'll see they go in and they steal a bunch of money from an airport.
Right.
And it's like the single biggest heist in one day. And he was a big part of that.
So running with the horse, nothing like smuggling foreign weapons or anything in horses?
No, you couldn't really do much on the base. The base was pretty strict. When you were a military kid, if you were an officer's kid, when you went through the gate, they'd give you like a big old, salute.
Right.
They'd break dance and everything.
On you.
Yeah, so the microscope was on you, whatever you did particularly when you were an officer's kid. So we didn't really, the fun we had was outside the gates of the military base.
So now you went on to become a Husker.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
It's tough these days.
Yeah, we're trying to form some sort of team, and Texas has just owned us the last 10 years. Yeah. Every time we play Texas, something happens, like putting seconds back on the clock so y'all can kick a field goal.
Is it tough being here in Austin?
You know what? I really love it. I think the Longhorn fans are very similar to Husker fans. They have a really high football acuity. So they're really sharp, they really know their team, and they also know what stinks, which is kind of what you're seeing right now is people know, hey man, this isn't the standard we're used to, so it's kind of fun to see them struggle a little bit.
It gets political though, quick.
Yeah, it does, and it's interesting with Charlie Strong coming down here because I think he's really, it's going to sound strange saying it, but he's a breath of fresh air because I think he brings a contemporary approach but he's going to do it in an old school way,
right?
Because he's going to try to get kids that have stronger core values. I think that's going to work over time.
If he sticks to those old school values and he doesn't become a yes man, he's going to have success.
Yes, it's just going to take time, and the fans just have to be patient with that.
Okay, I want to like rapid fire a couple things.
Okay.
I understand that you've got a little bit of a hobby.
Okay. I've got a few. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say a topic. I just want you to say what you think. Speak your mind.
Okay.
The moon landing.
The moon landing. Oh, the moon landing was done on a sound stage, I believe.
Okay.
And the lines were botched. It was some bad theater. The guy couldn't even get his opening line out.
Okay. JFK assassination.
JFK. There was a lot of players in that one, and
inside job.
Oh yeah, it was definitely an inside job. Definitely an inside job. Alex Jones.
Sandy Hook.
There. Sandy. Oh yeah, I think that's already been proven that was.
That's not true. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was. People need to dig further on that and just keep reading, and don't read the first things that you see on the internet.
Go to the
fifth
or fourth,
sixth page, and
just
keep reading.
Okay.
Keep reading.
Monsanto.
Yeah, you don't have them as a sponsor, do you?
No.
That scares me because they used to have an actual pesticide called Bigfoot Lures Ban.
Right.
And anything named Bigfoot or Sasquatch when it comes to things I eat and get stepped on, I just don't want to be part of that.
And tell me about your Google browsing habits.
My Google browsing habits?
You use Google a lot, right?
I try not to use Google as much as I can. But I have found that if you try to go through any other search engine other than Google, you get these things called pop-ups or spam.
Right.
And somehow Google doesn't have those.
Right.
It's just perplexing, Jimmy, and it's something I'm further going to just
you
keep learning about how they do that.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
Oh,
on the search for the truth.
I will, because I've heard here in Austin, there's actually some Google people.
Yeah.
So there might be some actual people I can talk to and get a sense of why that happens.
Well, they're going to have to, probably to give you the truth, they're going to have to install some fiber to your house.
Oh.
And then they can help you with all the answers.
Well, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
Got that going
Like
for
a guy will just show up in between the hours of like 8 and
You can
like
be there or
3.
not.
And I don't even have to be there.
You don't have to.
An installer will show
Leave
up.
the door
A
unlocked.
friendly installer probably will be there.
They'll take care of that.
Thanks. That's so nice. Comforting, actually. Comforting to know that.
You know what's been comforting? Having you here.
Thanks, Jimmy.
And I can't thank you enough.
Yeah. Usually I'm sleeping by now, so it's just good to be hanging out here in your world, Jimmy.
Well, thanks again. Want to tell our viewers to make sure you check out. We got a couple of skits. We got the gyro song on this particular episode we're going to be doing, and we look forward to working on some new.
Yeah, there's going to be some funny stuff. I think if we could do some holiday stuff, I've got some stuff in the hopper.
I like holidays.
Yes, and this is a good non-denominational holiday coming up too.